Peace and blessings, family. Sister Arjali, I tell you. Woo! I thank Allah for my king and for exercise. They keep me going through everything because we're going to talk about why your dog died. All right? Now, I mean that with respect because I know that animals have their own personalities, their own spirits. And if you've had a pet, then you realize that they have very identifiable ways about themselves. And thus, if your pet has died, my condolences to you for your loss because you had experienced it as a real loss. Now, that said, we're not as just kind of freaky with our pets as the pink folks are. I'm not every single one of them, but they're the ones that you're going to find doing all sorts of weird, freaking nasty things with their pets. And the worst one that they're committing right now is just fumigating them by fumigating the whole planet with man-made radiation. That's a difference. It's a key difference between radiation and local pollutants. Those are going to be segregated to that particular area because man-made pollution is very heavy. It's chemical bonds, molecules. Whereas radiation, it kills on a one atom basis. It hitches a ride on an air current and it just traverses the globe. So this report, I thank my king for, and I also thank you for watching this entire share. Please encourage me in my fight on your behalf. This is all going to have to do with us. And I've got so much information to share that you are just going to go, oh my God, okay? And I've got solutions too, so listen to the whole thing. And so my king shared this with me, and it's not just covering pets, but all animals. Unusual diseases are killing animals in large numbers all over America. That means that the number's even bigger. Now, I'm not going to read this article, but one of the key points for what I need to share, what must be shared of this article is that this devastating just extermination of animal species in the United States of America primarily is being hidden. And that is integral to the distractions and the psyops and the false flags and the wars and the rumors of wars just overwhelming us so that we're rubbernecking our way to extinction. Like this, I thank Brother Joshua R. for sharing this with me because this is really, really important in understanding why we should not give in to the suicide is us culture. First off, as Black people, we have so many amazing ways of being the most solidly rooted people on the planet. Exercise is one of them. Our melanin electrifies our musculature so that it's always repairable for the entirety of our lives. You don't have to cellularly age as quickly as other races of people. And no shade to them. I'm just giving the science. It's not meant to be an insult. It is what's true. But that's what I'm saying is don't give in to that whole suicide like they're pushing, oh, you need therapy, you need this. Now they had an article where they're like, oh, we need to identify key mental illnesses in the American population. They want to pathologize everyone. When they're the ones who are stoking distress in the entire population, because that's what they want. When they read the headlines, oh, suicides are up. When they read that, they get happy, right? And so I know that there are so many ways so that no matter what the devil's throwing at you, you're feeling all right. You're feeling all right, okay? So the Japanese, unfortunately, they have a real big reputation as being suicidal, and thereby many key officials have been suicided. And I don't mean to laugh at that because it's murder and it's wrong. But I'm just saying that when you read an article like this, Japanese are dying out. One of the other features of them having been punctified by losing to Western civilization during World War II is that they're so dispirited and disappointed in themselves. That was the motivation behind that mad rush to hurry up and beat the West in their industries. But they did it while they were worshiping the West. So that's going to make it just a leaky balloon that never manages to float. And so they also, it's evidence in their rates of hikikomori, which is Japanese shut-ins, young adults who, even starting from their teenage years, refuse to leave the house because the competition in this hurry up and beat the West has left out the humanity. Not that Japan ever really had too much humanity towards its common citizens or any other Asian society. But I'm just saying is that a lot of youth refuse to even participate. But it's also played itself out in their just plunging birth rates. Because it's like, why get married when you're going to just work yourself to death and you'll never see your children, which is what happens in a lot of Japanese marriages. And by, year 5, year 10, you got both husband and wife sleeping in 2 separate rooms. And the husband, he will actually even have a whole nother separate little, domicile live in. It's not a palatial estate or anything. It can even be one of them cube hotels where they literally just sleep in something slightly bigger than a coffin. And his children will never see him. They don't know him. And so you'll have a lot of deaths later on from overworking. They'll die from overwork, or they'll just die at old age all alone, even though they had a wife, they had a family, but their family didn't know them. So on top of that, the suicide rate for Japanese females is exploding. It's exploding. Now, they're going to want to blame, the usual suspects. And that's what I'm talking about in this share, the usual suspects. I'm Negro spiritualizing, all right? Because even though Biden is allowed to say stuff, he's on these social media platforms, you're not allowed to speak the truth. So they keep things hidden, and you got to Negro spiritualize in order to get a modicum of the truth out there. And so this is something I reported on long before any statistically manufactured, algorithmically created, agendas got started. So these are young women, and a lot of them are pregnant women. Why would women at the absolute fruit-bearing bounty of their lives be killing themselves at excessive rates? Because just like the women in Fallujah, where the U.S. government ordered their soldiers to fire 1 million rounds of depleted uranium bullets into that territory every single month. And the doctors, because of the mutations that were just overwhelming the natal facilities in Fallujah, the doctors told Fallujah women to stop having babies. Because of that same reason, Japanese women are also giving birth to what they consider monstrosities, which, pretty much there's no way that you can see these types of mutations and not be shocked and horrified. And so that's why there's an 83% increase rate of suicide amongst Japanese women. So you have to be careful, because we're dealing with the devil, and they're going to hide their most effective method of genocide ever, ever, ever. They'll talk about all sorts of things. They'll even allow people to talk about all sorts of things, but they have so dumbed us down that they just sort of have great faith that we're not going to get it. So excuse me if you've been on my other channels are gone now, but if you've been aware of my content for years, if I repeat certain items because it needs to be said again and again and again because the program is so deep, people will just automatically go for the popular conclusion and not hear the facts that I'm putting out. So let's share this right here. Again, another one they took down, which is coming from, you see right here, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Agency. This is a governmental agency. This is on their platform. They created this just to show the distribution of radiation for, I do believe it was 3 months coming from Japan. There it goes, hitting the U.S., and it's going to go blam. You can see the hottest of just these two isotopes they measured, cesium and iodine. The hottest amounts came to us and Canada. And oh, look at the West Coast. That's why they have a homeless problem over there. Like there's any other nation on the planet that can't. It's just such an organic, natural issue. We've got homeless everywhere. Why is it only over there? It makes no damn sense until you understand the devil, and then you go, oh, okay. So before I get to the next data, which I didn't make up in my basement any more than I made up that projection map, I want you to see what we're dealing with, all right? This is the U.S. Food and Drug Administration website. See, it's active. It's on there right now. This is, you can't see the date, but today is, I do believe, the 23rd, and this was updated in September of 2021. So let's scroll down, see what it says. FDA response to the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power facility incident. They put it in just such calming terms, so you don't recognize this is a catastrophe on par with nothing that we are capable of comprehending. And because when catastrophes happen, we're used to them just sort of, ebbing away. It's all right now. Let's just move on, okay? No. That's why they're very intent on using language. And all the books that I've read, they've said they do this on purpose. This is a policy. I didn't know, but it's not against the law to use radiation to contaminate whole populations. That's why they're getting get away with this. And no one's going to go, oh, no, you can't do that. That's against the law. No, it's not. All right. So today, the FDA is deactivating import alert 9933IA that has targeted certain food products from Japanese prefectures. That means there's certain ones that have already gotten through. Japan's equivalent of a U.S. state located near the damaged Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Since 2011. Since 2011, before they did this, they were alerting people and saying, oh, no, that's too radioactive. This doesn't say that they're no longer going to be testing it for radiation. This just says they won't be telling you and me what's radioactive or not. You would think that it's all okay now. You would think that. But here you go. This is Mainichi, the Mainichi, Japan's national daily since 1922. Oh my goodness, okay? Little result. Little. That means it's even less than little. Result from decontamination efforts at nearly 12,900 sites near Fukushima plant. All right? almost 12,900 locations subject to decontamination work near the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station, or around 2% of the sites clean. So that means they didn't even bother trying to clean the other 98%. Okay? Following the nuclear disaster, did not see radiation doses fall below pre-decontamination levels. So that means it's just as high as it was when Fukushima blew up. And they said, oh, we got to evacuate everybody out of this region. They're growing food there. Right? Look at all these decontamination bags. There's tens of millions of them. And these bags weigh 1 ton each bag. It's not leaves. This ain't no leaves in there. I mean, there probably are leaves in there, but I'm just saying it's dirt. It's dirt. 1 ton bag of dirt. And it's radioactive dirt in a garbage bag. And there are millions. Look at that. That is gigantic. And this was not enough to stop what is an ongoing deluge. So these Japanese mothers here are testing their food for radiation. They're not testing it for GMOs. They're not testing it for lead poisoning. They're not testing it for, petroleum residue. I'm not saying that stuff isn't horrible. But when you have something deadly on a one atom basis and it causes mutations of this level, you're damn right you need to be testing everything. Now, unfortunately, these women do not understand. And kudos to them, right? Because this is what I'm building up to. But I need your help, all right? But going back to this, kudos to them. But as they're testing this stuff, they're saying that, they found high levels in the shiitake mushrooms. And they don't realize that you don't need massive quantities in order to cause everything that radiation causes. As a matter of a fact, let me read you this quote right here. Given this history of censorship and the Savannah River, that's a whole nother thing where do you know that Savannah River nuclear power plant was a bigger meltdown than 3 Mile Island? I had no idea. No, and most of the planet had no idea because they hide this stuff. All right? The centrality of Savannah River to U.S. strategic policy, it is easy to understand why there was no mention of an accident or radiation release from the plant in any published government report at the time. However, there is also evidence of a consistent and widespread effort to keep the lethal effects of low-level radiation secret, regardless of whether the radiation was released by military or civilian reactors. Methods that appear to have included outright falsification of published data. These people will just lie, and these gentlemen did their research, massive quantities, in their book Deadly Deceit, Low-Level Radiation, High-Level Cover-Up. Thank you to J.M. Gould and Benjamin A. Goldman. I don't wish the extermination of the beautiful diversity of humanity on this planet. I'm trying to stop a genocide and acknowledging and realizing it is this integration which is fueling the paranoia of white people, so they would prefer to destroy the entire friggin' planet than fess up to being the devil and do devilishness no more. Do I think it's possible for them to do that? Obviously, no, I don't. So the Most High is going to wipe them out, and we're going to shout hallelujah, because we'll finally be at peace, and there will be white people left even who will also be rejoicing because they don't want to die either. So one of the things that they were doing with that decontaminated or the decontamination soil that they put in all them daggone bags, because it was so there were even more of them. They went all around Japan burning that stuff. You cannot burn atoms in an incinerator. Otherwise, your stove would be a nuclear reactor. There's no way to reach those levels of heat to break apart atoms. You wouldn't be able to live in your own home, right? And so the residents in Miyagi filed a suit to block the burning of radiation-tainted West from Fukushima nuclear disaster, because that stuff, they would go, every single prefecture this stuff was burned in. They'd breathe it in. They'd breathe it in. The same as when you take a puff on your marijuana joint, and whatever word you use, weed joint, or whatever way you inhale it, you're more than likely sucking in more than enough plutonium to take you out. One atom is enough to take you out, okay? And so this is how much these people don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. And the FDA is going to just be shipping that stuff, whatever's grown there, straight to us. Soil from Fukushima radiation decontamination work to be reused. The stuff that's in the bags. The stuff that's in the bags that they say and they know is so horrifyingly awful that they evacuate the whole areas. They're going to reuse it in farmland. Bon appetit. If we don't have a lab to tell us, oh no, that's not food, that's death. And man, the nuke industry, that's how I know. That's why my channel was taken down, my channels. Because they're making a bold campaign. I can see it all over the friggin' place to present nuclear as clean energy. And it doesn't harm anybody. Nobody was hurt from Fukushima. Get the hell out of here. Or take your hell and with you as you go, okay? So congenital heart disease operations rose 14% after Fukushima nuclear accident. That was another thing they took down, was my list, our transition before their time, where I was just talking about the DIOS long before the orchestrated agenda was put in place. They give you something so that you'll pivot on it because it's popular. Oh, look, everybody else is talking about it. And then you'll think to yourself, well, as long as I don't roll up my sleeve and volunteer, I'm good. No, you're eating the same isotopes that killed your dog. You're eating because it goes to all the food. Hopefully you're not chewing down some Alpo, and I pray not. But I'm just saying, you eating the same isotopes, the things that are killing the animals. There's not very much difference organically between you and them, all right? Here's another one. Thyroid cancer in Fukushima children increased 20-fold. This is from May of 2021. When Fukushima first popped off, they were showing thyroid nodes. That's precancerous. The chances of a child suffering from thyroid cancer are as probable as a child suffering from Alzheimer's. This is the radiation. And they want to present it as, oh, nuclear is fine, it's clean, it's not good. No, they use electricity to power the generators in nuclear power plants, because that stuff it's there to fuel their military weapons. That's what they use this stuff for. But nuclear power is helping to drive the climate crisis. And I had the video, Europe is burning, Europe is on fire. And it's because of the tritium, which is hot water that is radioactive, and you can absorb it straight through your skin. You have to know how to get this stuff out as best as you can and how to keep your systems working perfectly as possible, right? But in the meantime, it's heating up our planet, and so it's turning it into Mars. Fukushima radiation still poisoning insects. This is the deathly gift that just keeps on giving. And as long as we keep thinking, oh, maybe the insects went and rolled up their sleeves too. That is the sum total of believing that these animals, that the sea creatures, that these insects, that the fir trees even, all rolled up their sleeves. Oh, God went to the doctor and said, doctor, save me. Okay? Fir trees. This is a Newsweek. Fukushima radiation made Japanese fir trees go haywire after nuclear disaster. This is even January of 22. Okay? And this is tragic, where the Fukushima fallout, the irradiated sailors of the USS Ronald Reagan, I doubt any of them are even alive anymore. If it is, it's just like, a very small percentage, because they were sent directly into the plume. And as they passed the plume coming out of Fukushima on the day of the explosion, they were told to turn around and go back a second time. All their watches stopped right at the same time. They were suffering conditions that are exactly like many of the afflictions that people want to attribute to, it must have been, roll up your sleeve thing, right? No. Right? This is nuclear guinea pigs, where they always do this. This isn't something, new.
I don't think there are any left.
And they send them, this is how many lies that are right in our faces. They send them in with these paper suits on. But if nuclear was so safe, the nuclear facilities would be made out of cardboard. Basically, they get turned into cardboard because radiation is so incinerating that it causes interstitial vacancies in the physical structure of whatever it touches. And so it turns things radioactive and embrittleizes it so it crumbles to pieces. It no longer has integrity. And so this is another lie that's killing a whole bunch of white pilots. Now, they've managed to cut back on the amount of people flying, period. And when you're a larger airline, you could take measures to better ensure the integrity of your airline fleet by doing on-the-ground testing, where they run the engines for 24 straight hours, 48 straight hours, and check for cracks and fissures. But most of the, like this one here, the Air Atlantic Icelandic 747 engine falls from plane. This is something that's happening on the regular, but the safer the airline you go to with a better track record, the more probable it is that you'll arrive at your destiny, because this plane's taking off all the time, all right? But for smaller planes, and also for the military, because the military, they want to save money as much as possible, and they are having massive crashes with lives being taken. But this was just, oh my goodness gracious, it was a fireball streak, and it was horrible. This is white on white genocide. And this one happened not nearby me, but still, I was like, ooh, New Jersey. When I advise that not only do you look across the street both ways and make sure that you can get across safely, every now and then if you hear a plane going above, just, kind of like in the back of your mind or whatever, keep an eye out on where it's going to fall. I'm not saying they're all going to fall. Most of them make it where they need to go. I'm just saying these things are increasing exponentially because commercial airlines, or not commercial, but privately owned aircraft have a vastly lower standard of care, so that they can't afford to run their engines and use all that fuel to make sure that they're going to make it wherever they're flying. So this is a meme that I put on both my Instagram and my Facebook. Facebook has me, soon as I started talking about radiation, they froze me out like nobody's business, okay? And I'd been up there before Fukushima. So Instagram, I say that's the place where I can say a whole lot more. I no longer can do memes on YouTube. So Japanese housewives, again, going back to the mother's radiation lab, and you saw, if you read what they were saying, and they didn't have any experience doing this. When they took their food products to the professionals, quote unquote, and big ha 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 to that, they were turned down for testing it because the word is out. The word is out. The other day, I highlighted how governments are using armies of agents to influence people to think a certain way. And so this is from way back in 2011. Japanese government agency funding project to monitor online info about Fukushima crisis, around the clock monitoring of blogs on nuclear power and Twitter accounts. It doesn't stop there. Of course it doesn't. You need this book. It's for real. It's such a wonderful exchange between me and you. My channels are gone, but this book is here. That's my channels right there. You can avail yourself of the cures that was the beautiful thing about all of this. I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm here to give you the only rescue coming for Black us anywhere on this planet when it comes to radiation. All right? And then you help me to get to the point where this is my lab. This is my lab. If these women could do it, you're daggone tooting somebody who is as stably focused and dedicated to you and our people as I am. But if we don't help me to get that done, where are our labs to keep us safe? Right? And as promised, for your pets, you'll get information on, I didn't target my book towards pets specifically, but liquid boron drops, just a small amount, like half of what you would take yourself in, and 2 dropperfuls are more than sufficient, or a capful. Half of that in the water. And boron was used in Chernobyl to absorb the radiation so that they could actually enter the facility and assess the damage. That will just magnetically attract radioactive isotopes so that they can flush it out of their bodies. All right? I don't know, because we need testing in order to determine the ways to save our families. Sometimes for a lot of us, our best friends and our only companions. And so that is one method that you can utilize to keep them safer. This is for real. Please go back and listen to this whole share over again. Share it with your family members. Get the book and share that. There's been so many of you who've done that, who bought it for different family members. All right? Sometimes a visual aid will also assist in getting people to understand. Okay? Because this is real. I ain't making this up. These people plan on killing us. And the CMOS, it's no joke that it is being targeted at us directly. That was another warning that they completely removed. The more serious and the more focused I became, That's when they were like, no. She's got too much authority now. My authority doesn't come from me. It's given to any of us by Allah himself. I'm just one of your soldiers, and I'm joyous because I know no matter what happens, the devil is already lost. So go buy all my books. This Black Nation, and Furnace of Affliction, because we're grown-ups and we build. Devils destroy. We build. Straight Black family pride, and we will leave them choking on our dust. I love you. Peace and blessing.